everybody. I'm Michelle Williams, Executive Director of Arts Council, Santa Cruz County. And it is my pleasure to introduce, to welcome you to the 20th Annual Gail Rich Awards. So this is an incredible annual event to honor outstanding members of our community for their contributions to arts and culture in Santa Cruz County, and is presented by the Arts Council and the Arts Council Associates. The Arts Council inspires creativity, connection, and community. From open studios to grants to arts education to ebb and flow, we promote, connect, and invest in the arts every single day. There are 6 incredible honorees this evening, and I want to remind all of you to please join us for a reception and party right here with bubbly and goodies at the end of the show, so stick around. 20 years ago, Sentinel writer Wallace Baine and photographer Shmuel Thaler cooked up this incredible event. They recognized that the Santa Cruz arts community is extraordinary because of the many individuals, artists, donors, teachers, community builders, entrepreneurs, street performers who make this community so rich and so wonderful. The Gail Rich Awards were born, and 20 years later, the list of truly amazing people to honor only gets longer. Tonight, this tradition celebrates 20 years. And it is now my honor to introduce this evening's Master of Ceremonies, the man who selects all of the winners every year and one of the best writers on the planet, the one and only Mr. Wallace Baine.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, and welcome to the 20th Annual Gail Rich Awards. 20 long years. It's been an amazing journey, and we're going to have a lot of fun this time around. Tonight, certainly, but also in the very near future. I want to thank everyone who lied about my dinner jacket earlier tonight. Thank you for that. Tonight here, we really want to throw our focus on the 6 individuals who we are going to honor tonight with the Gail Rich Awards, and I'm really, really honored to be part of this, to kind of sit down with these guys and listen to their stories. And it always amazes me. I will go and choose these individuals on the basis of what I know about them, and I always come away learning something that I didn't realize, that these artists are even more amazing than I thought they were. We have some really, really amazing people you're going to hear about tonight. Mr. Tom Ralston is here. You know, Tom inherited a concrete company and then turned it into something that literally shapes our landscape here in Santa Cruz County, making great works of art through that. Mr. Angelo Grova is here as well. We all know Angelo from Michelangelo Gallery, and of course the impresario of fashion art, the man who began that madness. Miss Jana Marcus is here. And Jana, other than helping us out with our book, she was kind of the go-to person on that, is a wonderful photographer in her own right. You might remember her book, Transfigurations, a few years ago. Gave a lot of humanity to a trans population before it was fashionable, as it is today. So Gail and Joe Ortiz are here today, the great power couple of Capitola. And yes, I think the herb cheese rolls at Gail's Bakery are a work of art. So, but they are both artists in their own right. We're also going to honor Catherine Sigerson, who's here tonight. Catherine is the creator and editor of Catamaran magazine, which is really one of the most beautiful things to come out of Santa Cruz in a long time. I just like to hold it and rub the cover. It's so nice. And we'll also have the Lord of Gourd, Mr. Neil Hellman is here. a great musician in his own right, and of course, he is the closest we have to a bona fide recording mogul, and we're really happy to have him tonight. Neil's presence here is really very special because of his relationship with Gail Rich, of course, and I want to tell you that when we first started this 20 years ago, it was simply an idea to let's give Shmuel a showcase to show his portraiture work in the Sunday paper. And I thought we'll just profile artists. And literally the first person I called was Gail Rich. And of course, Gail was Neil's partner in business and otherwise at that point at Gord headquarters. And I called her up and I said, Gail, she was working for me as a stringer at that moment. She had written a lot for the Sentinel as a arts correspondent, and she said, I said to her, I want to start this project, and I want to highlight people in the arts, and I want to hold them up for recognition and tribute. And the first thing out of her mouth was, well, I know someone who would be perfect for this. That was, of course, Neil Hellman. And after Gail passed away, Neil understandably was grieving, really wanted to keep his distance from this event, I think. And now we've come 20 years later, full circle. It is a great joy to me that we have finally fulfilled Gail's wish and honored Neil Hellman here tonight. Let's get started, shall we? Our first contestant is Miss Jana Marcus. Jana is, of course, a wonderful photographer, a tireless promoter of the arts in this community. She is also the daughter of two former Gail Rich winners, the great Wilma Marcus Chandler and the equally great Morton Marcus. And here to tell you more about Jana Marcus is her presenter, Mr. Brian Taylor.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. It's a beautiful evening and a beautiful audience, and we're here to celebrate 6 incredibly creative people in our community. I'm thrilled to introduce our first awardee, the amazing Jana Marcus. She's being honored tonight for her many talents as an arts administrator, community activist, and also as a creative photographer. Now, I'm not too bitter that she's winning the award tonight and not me, because I cheer myself up, as we just heard, realizing that with genes like hers, I never had a chance. Jana's beloved father, and many of you knew, the Bard of Santa Cruz, Morton Marcus, was the Artist of the Year in his day. He won his Gail Rich Award in 2007. And oh yes, Jana's mother, Wilma Marcus Chandler, the theater director and head of the drama department at Cabrillo for over 30 years, won her Gail Rich Award in 1999. You know, with parents like hers who keep winning things, Jana's beginning to look a little like Chelsea Clinton, I think. You'll see her hair is turning blonde when she walks up here. Jana entered this world in the Stanford Hospital while her dad was a graduate student at Stanford, and her life changed at the age of 17 when her dad bought her her first camera, at which time she promptly ran off to New York City, all the way to the other end of the country at the age of 18, telling her parents she was going to study music since she had also been a classical pianist since the age of 3. Instead of music school, Jana decided she wanted to say something about the world, about her generation. So Jana began honestly photographing young people around her, trying to give voice to marginalized groups. She documented the punk rock scene in New York City nightclubs, which became the series After Midnight, Youth Subcultures of New York City, which won the UC Berkeley Center for Photography's International Photojournalism Award at her young age. Her next body of work documented America's curious vampire culture, published as her first book, In the Shadow of the Vampire, Reflections from the World of Anne Rice, And as you all know, her latest book, Transfigurations, received several national awards, including the Best LGBT Nonfiction Book of 2012 by the Independent Publishers Book Awards. Jana's insatiable curiosity is now focused on writing a true crime narrative entitled Line of Blood, describing how she uncovered a secret legacy of her family members, her own family, involved as mobsters and murder. Considering Jana's track record of success, watch for this latest project to become a best-selling book and then a movie soon. Dear Jana, you are a true Renaissance woman in this 21st century. With all your exciting energy and plans for the future, you are very lucky, and we are very lucky that you're still young. Please welcome the amazing Jana Marcus.
Brian Taylor is one of the nicest human beings on the planet. Thank you, Brian. I am really humbled to be here tonight among friends and colleagues and to share the stage with all of tonight's recipients who are such wonderful artists and contributors to our community. I want to quickly thank the Santa Cruz Sentinel and the Arts Council, and especially Wallace and Shmuel, for bestowing this honor upon me in the spirit of Gail and her legacy. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Sabrina Eastwood and the production staff for all the hard work they do for putting this this event together. Thank you so much. I am really deeply honored to receive this award tonight, and it's especially significant to me because both of my parents, Wilma and Mort, have received this award in the past. This kind of makes it a family affair in a funny kind of way, but I will tell you that if I can contribute back to this arts community 1/10 of what my parents have, I will consider myself a success. So let's talk about my parents for a minute here. They were and are the powerhouses behind so many institutions that we know as standards here in Santa Cruz. Performing arts, theater, dance, film, the 810s at 8 Festival, the Pacific Rim Film Festival, improv theater, celebration of the muse, poetry, literature. The list is endless. Can you imagine having these two people as your parents? It was these two amazing people that nurtured my sister Valerie and I into a life of the arts. They taught us to use our imaginations, to create, to inspire, and most importantly, to give back to the community through art. Nothing is more important in life than art, my mother used to say when we were young. And as magical and as inspiring as that was, my sister and I actually struggled as we grew up with the notion that a life without art was not an option. Our parents had instilled values in us that later we learned we just couldn't even make a living at. But as a young adult, I went to my father and I asked him to explain his philosophy of why the most important thing in life was art. And he actually corrected me, and he said, life is the most important thing. Live your life, and from your experiences will come your art, and then shape it to have meaning for others. So needless to say, just like my parents, I became a very project-driven artist. From a young life in music, I turned to the camera as my outlet for creative expression, trying to say something about the world around me and documenting stories of marginalized peoples and the subcultures of my generation. I've been really honored that my work over the years has been used to educate, break down stereotypes, and set wheels of social change into motion through the photographic medium. But like so many artists, I struggle with the balance between making a living and having the time to create all the projects that are just dying to pop out of my head. Kirby Scudder and I were talking just a couple months ago about the great dilemma of either working 40 hours a week and having no time to create, or creating and being completely flat broke. So because of this dilemma, it's often difficult for artists to complete their visions. Often our work cannot come into public viewing without the financial support of wonderful organizations like the Arts Council and significant donors and contributors who help us bring our visions to fruition. So tonight, I want to publicly thank a really special person who has been incredibly significant to me. When I look back over the 20 years, this person played a role in many of the creative moments in my life and helped bring them to completion in one way or another. He introduced me to Anne Rice, which led to an amazing adventure in New Orleans and my first book in the late 90s. He supported the national touring exhibit of Transfigurations, and most currently, the documentary short film made in Brooklyn this past summer that will accompany my new book. Many artists and organizations owe this man a huge debt of gratitude, and I hope you will all join me in giving a round of applause to the amazing human being, George Au Jr. I don't know if you're here, but George and Gail, really amazing. And I thank you, George, for making so many things happen for artists like myself, and it is not without a ton of gratitude and appreciation. Each of us needs someone at some point in our life to take a chance on us. It is a gift when you encounter someone who sees potential in you, potential that you may not see in yourself, and then gives you wings to fly, to discover who you can be as an artist and as a vital member of the community. That person for me was Gail Rich Award winner Lyle Cruz, who founded the jazz program at Cabrillo, and most importantly, founded Cabrillo Stage. Lyle hired me as the photographer for Cabrillo Stage in 1994, but he saw potential in me and my high-tech marketing skills, and 14 years ago turned me into the arts marketer that I am today. I give a special thanks to Lyle because he has always given opportunities to me and to so many other people and taken chances on us. And I encourage all of us as artists to take someone under our wing and encourage them to fly, because that is how the next generation of artists and art administrators will be born. I also want to give a really special thank you to Tandy Beal, who was a woman of amazing heart and incredible grace, who believed in my arts marketing skills and stood by me when some people decided to listen to other people's petty gossip instead. I also want to acknowledge Jim Oshbacher and Lisa Jensen, two amazing artists and wonderful friends who have often taken me by my shoulders, turned me around to face in another direction. Their love and advice have been invaluable over the years. I love you both very, very much. And I also want to I won't be able to mention everyone who supported me in my work over the years, but I give a heartfelt thanks to all of my friends and colleagues and to this wonderful arts community that we call Santa Cruz. This is truly a really special place. Most importantly, before I knock over the podium, I want to thank my partner Amy, and I want to thank my mother Wilma and my stepfather John Chandler, all of whom have put up with me during my crazy process of creating work and always encourage and support me and my projects with open hearts and open minds. And lastly, to the omnipresent spirit of my father Mort, who I know continues to guide me from the beyond. I treasure this honor that you've given me, and I thank you all so very, very much.
Thank you, Jana. Let's get your Valerie sister to move back. Your sister Valerie to move back, and that way we can complete the circle there in the Marcus family. I think that would be quite wonderful.